Hey Nick, how you doing? I was gonna reply to your comment to me, and then I watched your video, and now I feel like just doing a video response. I am totally with you on the fluidity. The word I would use is ephemeral, which is really just, something lasting for a short time. But I would say that, well, your point of view in regards to the changeability and the impermanent nature of the self, even on a physical level, I think are, excuse me, are totally, valid. I think that you're favoring a point of view that I think would be easiest for me to describe in terms of Ayurvedic physiology and the way they break things up. And you might be somewhat familiar with this, and I'm no expert, so this is, if I get something wrong, let me know, anybody. But there are basically 3 physical and mental types in Ayurveda, and those are Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. Now, Vata is characterized by mental activity, airiness, impermanence, the concept of the self that you're describing is a very Vata concept. But there would also be a Pitta and a Kapha point of view on that, and that wouldn't necessarily say that the Vata conception is not accurate, but I guess what I'm getting at with this is, although I do essentially subscribe to your point of view in regards to what comprises the self, and how we shouldn't get too attached to what that might be because it's always changing. I think that in terms of interpersonal relationships and in terms of our functioning, especially in regards to our body interacting with the earth, getting enough food for your body and interacting with other people, it does make sense to allow these strands that go back in time to come together in our perception to form a cohesive whole that we call a self. In other words, I think that the concept of the self as a unique unit is useful, and especially for worker bee types who really just don't even care, and there are a lot of them. But if you get too attached to that and can't also conceive of the Vata perception that you're discussing, of the impermanence of the self and the constant changing, you end up, your parameters are not accurate or usefully placed in that case. So I guess my point is, I agree with you. But I'm pretty Vata as well, so this is like the Vata club. This is the phantasmagoricals. Other people would have a totally Kapha or a totally Pitta point of view. And the idea really is to be equally balanced between the 3 doshas. And that's called being tridoshic, and almost nobody apparently is tridoshic. Or very few people are. But the idea is to bring all 3 of these influences into balance. And I think there's something to be said for that. So in regards to how this relates to free will, I'm not really all that interested in the free will debate either. I mean, I guess it comes into some of the stuff that I'm interested in, but, again, I think actual free will is probably an illusion, although the concept of free will is not totally useless, especially on a practical day-to-day level. And I do think that every day we get a chance to be a new person, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to have some consistency morally or ethically or whatever, there's something to be said for keeping up with what you set out, if you make plans or promises, or I'd hate to see this idea of the ephemeral self become an explanation for why people should, do horrific things and be totally let off the hook. Not that that's specifically what you're advocating, but I can see it going there when you start talking about the practical applications of these things. So, yay for gray matter working overtime, and Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't think it's the only way that it can be looked at, and I think it could even be problematic to only look at it that way. I think it's totally cool if individuals want to favor one point of view or another, but it should be recognized that that's what's happening. So, you know, yep, that's it. Bye.